Daikatana. What can be said about Daikatana? Lots of things. Daikatana might be one of the most exhausting games that has my full respect. One of the most ambitious and completely deranged first-person shooters I've ever played. And I think it's really unique and weirdly charming. I mean, what other FPS has you taking on the motherfucking Medusa?
What? Did you look at her and turn into stone? Is that what just happened?
Any with time travel? How many other shooters mix up cyberpunk and straight-up magic? What other game has AI so awful that it makes you want to headbutt drywall until you pass out just so you don't have to play any more of the damn game? This game is the hypest shit that I downright hate. My YouTube channel, the one you are watching right now, feel free to subscribe, is dedicated to games that never really found their place. Not just bad games, but failed releases, commercial disappointments, and forgotten titles that slipped through the cracks. Games that sold poorly, games that underperformed. Games that were dismissed before anyone really figured out what they were doing. Sometimes those games truly are awful. Sometimes they become cult classics. And sometimes they're just weird. Part of this idea came from the podcast Let's Plays from the Audio Entropy crew, where they rank random games they often haven't even played. It's a funny bit, but it got me thinking about nostalgia and how that can influence opinions. Like, is DMC Devil May Cry a good game if you never played any of the previous games? Somewhere along the way, the idea became ranking games that never made it in their own time. See what's worthwhile. Which brings us to Daikatana. Daikatana was developed by the legend John Romero, one of the minds behind Doom, Wolfenstein 3D, and Quake. Which means, before Daikatana, this man had one of the greatest winning streaks in the gaming industry, and he was 100% the type to let it go to his head. Now, I don't want to get too much into the story of John Romero, as this isn't what this video is supposed to be about. But the important thing to know is that Romero didn't want creativity to be limited by technology, deadlines, budgets, management, or any of the other things required to successfully ship a video game. So Romero left id Software, or rather he was fired when they found out he was going to be leaving, and founded Ion Storm. The man wanted to make something to wow the world, and in a weird way he succeeded. People still talk about this game. People know Daikatana. I mean, can you name any of the top games of the year 2000? How many of those games are remembered to this day? Let's see here. Time Splitters, Hitman, The Sims, Jet Set Radio, Perfect Dark, Deus Ex. Oh. Okay. Never mind. Those games are remembered by far more people and far more fondly than Daikatana ever was. The year 2000 was absurdly stacked. In any case, Romero followed his dreams, and in the year 1997, the world got its first look at Daikatana. It debuted at E3 with a promised release date for the holiday season of that year.
Take the player on a journey where it's just different the entire way through. Every time they get to a new level, they can't wait to get there because they know after a few levels that they're going to see new stuff, new music, just new everything. So it's really exciting.
And then again in 1998. And yet again at E3 1999. Where famously, the demo ran at only 12 FPS. Until it finally released in the year 2000 for PC with ports on the N64 and, to my surprise, the Game Boy Color. Alright, picture this. It's Christmas in the year 2000. You've been waiting for Daikatana to be released for years now. You've begged for it? It's finally here. You unwrap the gift, Daikatana, for the N64. You pop it in, maybe you're expecting action, maybe a little chaos. At this point, Daikatana has already been out as a Blockbuster rental exclusive for a few months now, so you might be expecting regret. Instead, you get a cutscene. In our playthrough, the opening alone eats up most of the episode. It's 11 minutes long. I hear it's longer on the N64 version. It barely feels like a game, let alone an action-adventure title. The cutscene, as of the 1.2 patch on Steam, doesn't even play automatically anymore. You have to enable it in the settings menu, so the game actively chooses not to introduce itself, and when you try and find out why, you're just hit with regret. So instead of easing you in, Daikatana throws you straight into confusion and a swamp with no context whatsoever. So what's actually in this opening cutscene? It starts with our hero, Hiro Miyamoto, in his training studio, alone. Then your computer informs you that there is a mysterious stranger at the door, and that people are getting really upset that you keep beating their kids.
So Tanaka-san left a message earlier complaining about the injuries to his son.
I should have stayed in bed. Let me guess, Miho. It's my landlord at the door, right? Did Mishima-san send you? Tell him I'll have his money by...
Hiro assumes this stranger to be Kage Mishima, a time-traveling cyberpunk warlord samurai, future dictator, and apparently also your landlord, who you're behind on rent with. Fortunately, it's not him. It's a stranger named Toshiro Ebihara, who requests that you follow him to a secondary location in the middle of the night alone for a chat. And Hiro just follows him. Sure, why not? What could go wrong? Once you two find your way into a deserted, dark alley, Toshiro explains there are two ancient clans, the Mishima and Ebihara clans, who have been at war with each other for hundreds of years, and that to put an end to this war, Hiro's ancestor forged a weapon known as the Daikatana, a sword so powerful it can time travel? According to him, Mishima stole it and used its time travel capabilities to rewrite history and become ruler of the world, and again, also your landlord. But it gets worse. Mishima apparently stole the vaccine for the mutagenic Marburg pox filovirus and didn't release it to the public as it was originally meant to be. And somehow that means he rules the world and is your landlord. The problem is, if any of this is true, this conversation can't be happening because that timeline is gone. Then Toshiro tells you his daughter is missing. She broke into Mishima's fortress and now you need to rescue her and steal back the Daikatana. And then ninjas kill him. This is the only part of the game that even has ninjas. It's just those two guys. Toshiro Ebihara, with his dying breath, tells you to play dead and hide in the corpse wagon to sneak into Mishima's fortress. Why is our landlord having all of the corpses delivered to his place? Never mind that, you do as you're asked. Then you fall off the back of the truck because it hits a speed bump. You fall off a bridge and land in a swamp. And only then does the game actually start. And as absurd as it is, it's also trying to do something unusual for an FPS. It fully commits to a time-traveling, lore-heavy structure with a surprisingly dense setup. The problem isn't that it has ideas, it's that it introduces them all at once before the player has even moved. The game has you travel through 4 different eras, each with its own weapons and aesthetic. A cyberpunk future, ancient Greece, medieval Europe, and almost modern-day San Francisco. which also means Daikatana is only partially an FPS at times. It constantly shifts focus depending on the era you're in, and ironically, the most traditional shooter sections, the modern and future levels, end up being the weakest. Every section, almost, feels like its own unique game, while at the same time not being unique enough. A FPS where its strengths lay between 1200 BC and 560 AD? Brilliant! It's almost as if the game is at its best when it forgets it's supposed to be a shooter. Episode 1, Kyoto, Japan. The year 2455 AD. This is the modern era of Daikatana from the perspective of our hero, Hiro. A future ruled by Mishima Industries, where our landlord is the ruler of the world, and a mutagenic plague is running rampant while the company refuses to release the cure. And this is where the game immediately collapses. The opening level is easily the worst part of the game, not because it gets good later, but because this is rock bottom. This episode has 6 weapons the player will earn throughout the episode. The Disruptor Glove. This is just your fist, but an upgrade later makes them gas-powered, best used in underwater fights. The Ion Blaster. The blast from this gun ricochets off of objects and will often just ricochet back at the player.
You bounced it. You curved the bullet into your own skull.
I really hate how that's a feature. Do not use this weapon underwater, as it will just explode in your face. C4 Visitirgo. This is your C4 launcher. This would be a fantastic weapon if the C4 would just stop getting stuck in the air and blowing up in your face. The Shot Cycler. One of the best guns in the game. This gun will fire 6 shots at a click. It's absolutely devastating at close range. That being said, don't use it for combat. That's not what it's for. Preserve your ammo so that you can jump. This is the jumping gun. Sidewinder. This is a missile launcher. There really aren't any surprises with this weapon, making it one of the safest weapons to use as it just works. And finally, we have the Shockwave. This weapon fires an explosive sphere. The first time you use it, it'll kill you. Why? Because you can't survive being in the same room as the blast. You learn the best use of this weapon is opening a door, blasting it into the next room, and then running like hell as the blast can hurt you between walls. You may think this clears the room, but no, every time I used it, a handful of enemies survived while I lost half my health 3 rooms away. In the first few levels, you will be fighting robot crocodiles, robot frogs, robot dragonflies, and turrets.
I forgot.
I was so focused on there being an alligator, I forgot about the turret.
Half of them are constantly jumping, flying, or clipping around in ways that makes them almost impossible to hit. You're constantly poisoned, often without knowing what caused it. We spent hours uncertain if the green water was poisonous or if we were just being poisoned by the robots in the water. Reading the guide now, I see it's the Froginator who poisons you. Even basic mechanics are inconsistent. Take the turrets, for example. There is no tutorial to explain to you how you're supposed to handle turrets. Hell, there's no tutorials for anything in Daikatana. In your first fight with a turret, the first thing you may notice is that you can't do any damage to it. Why? Because you aren't meant to shoot the turret. You have to shoot a fuse box nearby. And I feel I need to point out that it takes 4 hits to destroy the fuse box. I don't feel that it's unreasonable that I gave up after shooting it 3 times with no indication that that was going to work. How was I supposed to know that I was supposed to shoot it for a 4th and final time? You may think, oh, okay, now I know. But unfortunately for you, about 10 seconds after you fight that turret, you'll encounter a second turret. This turret has no fuse box. So what do? Shoot it? Nope. Damn thing's just immortal. You may try running past it, but there's a third turret directly after. And then after that is a room full of enemies.
Oh. Son of a bitch. Eat the fucking... Eat the strawberries. Eat the strawberries. Oh my god!
It took us about an hour just to learn how to destroy the first one, and another hour to get past the second. And then the game does it again immediately after. The third turret, once again, has a fuse box, but it's hard to hit with 2 turrets, 5 dragonflies, 2 frogs, and a crocodile trying to attack you. That's 3 turrets in a row, all behaving differently than the previous one, and none of them are explained. A large reason why we had such a hard time is that there was no healing anywhere to be found in the early portions of this game. As it turns out, strawberries heal you. We saw the strawberries, but without any indication that they healed the player, we thought them to just be decoration. Again, this game doesn't have any kind of tutorial. That kind of inconsistency is everywhere, even for the most benign things. Doors. Sometimes they open when you press on the door. Sometimes when you press a keypad. Sometimes when you press the keypad, the game tells you that didn't work, only for you to spend hours trying to figure out what you are actually meant to do, only for you to later figure out you were meant to ignore the game when it said that it doesn't work, and press the keypad a second time.
See, I did it again. That's repeated 3 times. The first time you press this keyboard, it doesn't work. The second time it does. Why? Why is it programmed like that? It is programmed to convince you that it doesn't work, that there was a different way to open that door, just for you to have to do it twice. It's like that goddamn meme where, fuck you for closing! It's like that meme where somebody programmed a website so the first time you put in your password, the password is incorrect. You have to put in the same password a second time for to log in. That's the meme. I'm gonna post the meme on the screen.
Tell me how you really feel.
Sometimes the keypad isn't even for the door you're trying to open, but rather for the platform you're standing on. And so when you press the keypad, you rise up into the air until you're crushed by the ceiling. You are constantly guessing as to what you're supposed to be doing. At the end of level 3, Solitary, you find your first companion, one Superfly Johnson, and he is actively a liability. Most guides recommend telling him to stay behind, clearing areas, and then babysitting him back through each section, because if you let him move freely, he will run into a room full of enemies armed only with his fists and die immediately. Which of course is a game over. You can tell him to pick up weapons such as the ion blaster, but usually that just means he's going to shoot you in the back.
Go back to the Mishima panel.
This?
Yeah. And follow that look around. Back up a bit. Yeah. And then, return to the panel to grab the keycard. How are you supposed to know that?
How the flying fuck are you supposed to know? I felt like we were discovering a secret.
So the actual gameplay loop becomes level start. Tell Superfly to wait. Clear level. Go back to the beginning of the level. Fetch Superfly. Return to end of level, repeat.
Johnson, get through that fucking door, I swear to
Come
God.
on, don't get crushed.
Don't get crushed now. You hear? You gotta be careful around those pneumatic doors.
Yeah. Okay.
You do have to go back and get him every single time, as the game locks progression behind his positioning. So you end up dragging him forward, and then once you get to the end, you gotta get him to keep walking closer to you because he's not standing exactly where the game wants him to.
Makiko and Superfly are right here!
I mean, imagine if other games did this, like Kingdom Hearts.
You can't go to the next level because Goofy's stuck on the terrain somewhere. Like, I would go insane.
That would be...
Everybody would hate it.
That would be madness.
The plot of Episode 1 eventually reveals that Mishima's empire is built off of corpse processing, fast food, and stolen technology. Basically, your landlord combined corporate fast food and mass cremation at the same time. A Soylent Green situation.
Oh, you make patties.
Making a piece of chicken.
Make a piece of people chicken.
People chicken.
Tastes just like chicken.
Well, it's cruelty free because it contains no real chicken.
Cruelty-free chicken. It does contain cock, though.
You also meet your ancestor's ghost. He opens a door for you, and then immediately leaves. How nice. Eventually, you rescue Mikiko Ebihara, the daughter of that strange man you met at the beginning of the game. Mikiko was being kept prisoner not where Superfly told you she'd be, but rather in an ice lab for reasons that are unclear to me. And despite how bad Superfly is as a companion, she manages to be 10 times worse. Reading the guide, her AI is far more broken than Superfly's is, including her being able to just kill herself by standing in the wrong spots or running too fast in some sections. She'll get stuck on everything and regularly disappear, and you'll have to go find her again because she wandered off. Congrats, this is your second companion for the rest of the game. It's like babysitting a completely useless child, only for you to now have to babysit a second child who has declared war on you personally. The episode ends with a sort of boss sequence. 3 brains who don't do anything unlock 3 turrets upon their death. Then a larger brain who has 2 turrets, followed by 2 of the coolest enemies in the game, and once they're defeated, their enemy type is never seen again. After all that, you finally receive the Daikatana. For us, this was about 12 hours into the game. Except there are actually 2 Daikatanas because of time travel shenanigans. Mishima warns you that if the 2 swords ever touch, reality itself will unravel. Remember that, it'll come back later. Anyways, your landlord sends you back to 1200 BC, specifically in ancient Greece. I guess he doesn't want rent. Episode 2 is easily the best part of the game. The level design remains obscure, but now it feels different. Instead of gaslighting you, it becomes obsessed with secrets. Except they aren't optional secrets, they're mandatory. You'll find hidden switches underwater that reveal hidden cave systems that have hidden passageways. Daikatana doesn't believe in 1 layer of nonsense when it can have 3. You travel through ancient Greece, fighting skeletons, spiders, griffins, and centurions.
Hoplite. Centurions are Roman. Zeus is Greek, so it's hoplite.
The game also casually reveals that the Greek gods are real, and are this world's true gods. You don't really do anything with that information. You forget about it. Zeus literally speaks to you. This revelation changes nothing.
Never mind. Why did Zeus just kill the statue of his daughter?
Don't fucking know. This era's weapons are the Daikatana, the namesake weapon of this game. This weapon levels up while you use it by literally stealing the XP you would have earned otherwise, all the way up to 5 levels. It can get pretty good, but even so, it's not all that great. The Discus. This razor-sharp throwing disc can be used to slice away at close range or thrown at distant enemies. The disc will return to hero with its boomerang-esque properties. You are capable of carrying and throwing up to 10 at a time. This is not only the best weapon of the era, but it's the best weapon of the game. It's phenomenal and a blast to use.
Whoa, what the fuck?
This is sick.
Is the
That's the coolest I felt this entire. Oh my god!
What? When you're just cheesing enemies from a balcony, and they're like, "Ew."
This game cheeses me.
This game cheeses me. Welcome to Wisconsin, where we cheese you.
Venomous. It spits balls of venom that bounce around. It's not great. Sun Flare. It's a pot of oil that explodes when thrown. Pretty good against giant women. Hades' Hammer. A massive sledgehammer that can cause the earth to quake. It can kill the player, but it's also good for jumping. Trident. This weapon's ammo is statues, just like the whole thing. It's probably the second best weapon of the era, as it's very strong and accurate. You can use it to jump, and it allows you to breathe underwater. Nothing in the game tells you this. And finally, Eye of Zeus. It just kills anything with lightning. It's this level's shockwave, but you don't need to fear it killing you. The episode ends with a fight against Medusa. The first time I entered the arena, I looked at Medusa and was instantly turned to stone. Which makes it probably the most lore-accurate Medusa fight ever put into a video game.
What? Did you look at her and turn into stone? Is that what just happened? Are you, for realsies? You looked at the boss and died.
Yeah.
So I ended up fighting her backwards, using the auto-targeting Eye of Zeus. I genuinely still don't know if this was the intended way to fight Medusa, but it was one of the coolest moments in the entire game. After defeating Medusa, you absorb her magic to recharge the Daikatana. You try returning back to the future, but your landlord intercepts the timeline. So instead, you get dumped into medieval Norway 560 AD, where the plague turns people into teleporting zombies and the king has gone insane. In my opinion, episode 3 feels weirdly disconnected from the main plot. You're sent on a quest by a monk to reforge another magical sword called the Purifier that's been broken into 5 pieces. A weapon belonging to a former paladin, now king, and we're told for sure the king is normally not mad and is totally a good person. And this weapon is named the Purifier for completely innocent, non-genocidal crusade reasons, for sure, definitely. Don't look into it. Apparently, the Purifier is needed to defeat the necromancer Nahir, creator of the plague, and it will cure the king's madness. I had assumed that the story was building towards the Purifier being able to cure the plague here in this time, and that we were going to be able to learn that magic to cure the plague in our own time in 2455, and that this would help loosen the control Mishima had on the world. Nope. It never comes up. None of it matters. The first level of episode 3 is split into 3 parts, and you'll go through them in order. Part 1, then part 2, and then part 3. However, in this level, you need to know that after you get to part 3, You then need to travel back to part 2 and get yet another hidden plot item at the bottom of a fountain. This one's frozen over and is the only case of breakable ice in the game. And then after you get that item, you then need to travel back to part 1 to make it to the next level. This is the only level in the game where you're expected to backtrack across loading screens, and there is no indication that you should be doing so. Later, you infiltrate a castle filled with evil wizards and their forces. At one point, a bridge can literally float off into the sky. You need that bridge, because while you may be able to jump the gap, Superfly cannot. This era's weapons are the Daikatana, the time-traveling sword that steals your XP, the Silver Claw, a glove of knives for your Freddy Krueger cosplay. This is the only silver weapon, meaning it's mandatory to kill certain enemies in the game. Bolter, it's a crossbow, and it's pretty good. Ballista, it's the crossbow again, but this one you can use for jumping. Stave of Stavros. The stave calls upon the powers of the gods to have meteors rain down on your opponents. This sounds awesome, but I never really found any use for it. Windrax's Wisp. I have nothing to say about this weapon. Let's put a pin in that, I'll explain in a bit. Nahir's Nightmare. A staff that summons a demon to fight for you. It's the worst weapon in the game. The problem is the demon can also kill you. And while it's active, you can't attack or switch weapons. So the gameplay becomes standing around and hoping your own summon doesn't decide you're the nearest target, while also hoping that it deals with the enemies around you fast enough. But Episode 3 does contain Daikatana's greatest enemy. Not a monster, not a boss, not Makiko, a bug, a game-breaking bug. The boss fight with the evil wizard Windrax has 2 phases. The fight starts in his library. Damage him enough and he opens a secret passage leading into a forest, and phase 2 begins. Until he makes it outside, he is immortal. If he does go outside, the game crashes. I saw some suggestions online on avoiding the crash. Some say the crash doesn't happen 100% of the time, just the majority of the time. The suggestions are, just keep at it, it'll work eventually. Don't save for the entire level. Or pray to the ancient gods. The only reliable solution is using console commands. Damage him until he opens the passage. Use console command Massacre to kill all enemies before he makes it outside. Note, Massacre doesn't actually kill anything, just removes them from the game. This is why the weapon Windrax's Wisp that you are meant to get from defeating Windrax isn't obtainable. I never got to use it. I hear it shoots lightning like some sort of lesser Eye of Zeus. And now you still need to escort Superfly through the level manually because progression, again, is tied to his position. It's why you can't just no-clip your way past the boss fight, because that's the path you have to walk Superfly. Now you no-clip through the locked gate that was supposed to unlock upon Windrax's defeat, and then you disable no-clip. That's how you beat that level. Eventually, you meet the Mad King. He attacks you, surprise, surprise. After defeating him, returning the Purifier cures him of his madness, and presumably cures the plague too. I'm not sure, the game never follows up on this. As thanks, the king allows you to recharge your magical time sword by draining the energy from his magical holy sword, but like, the magic in his sword was the only thing keeping him sane. So, like, does he go insane again? Just like right after you leave? Now we go back to the future, part 2. Except, Once again, your landlord intercepts your time travel attempt because apparently this man controls history itself and doesn't just kill you as a baby or something. It's not like he's going to take the moral high ground and not kill a baby. Instead, he just fucks with you between episodes. Episode 4 takes us to San Francisco in the year 2030. This episode has the most consistently useful set of weapons. The Daikatana, you already know what this is. The Glock, it's literally just a gun. The Slugger, it's a shotgun that has a secondary fire that shoots grenades. This is the only weapon in the game that I know of that has a secondary fire. The game doesn't teach you this, I just happened to figure it out while I was playing. I didn't know I was supposed to be checking for secondary fires. Other weapons might have them too, I don't know. The Kineticore. It's like a liquid nitrogen semi-automatic. It's deadly, and just like the Ion Blaster, it ricochets and will absolutely kill the player. The Rip Gun. It's a minigun that rips through your opponents. It's absolutely sick. However, the ammo for it is called slugs, which makes you think it's for the slugger. That's because they changed names in development, and forgot to change the name of the ammo as well. The Nova Beam. It is a shoulder-mounted laser cannon. Easily one of my favorite weapons. Top 3 for sure. The Metamazer. It's a robotic mine that only ever seems to kill the player. Like, seriously, it never attacked any of the enemies, it only ever attacked you, the player. It's a lot like Nahir's Nightmare, except you are allowed to swap weapons while you're using it, making it slightly better than Nahir's Nightmare. You land in Alcatraz, you escape Alcatraz, fight through the hilariously named Tower of Crime, and you'll find your way to Mishima Labs, where you meet Totsuo Ebihara, the original creator of the MMP vaccine. You convince him to help by explaining that in another timeline he invents the cure, and he believes you almost entirely because Mikiko has the same last name as him. No further verification required. Through him, you learn the location of Mishima's hideout, where he keeps stolen historical artifacts, including the Mona Lisa. Unfortunately, Mishima escapes by helicopter to a nuclear power plant / military base, which may sound difficult to infiltrate. But Mikiko literally just asks to be let in through the front gate, and it's all good.
Private dumbass, what are you doing? Did you open the door again for anybody who said they wanted to come in?
Inside are awkward jumping puzzles. This makes sense. You gotta keep the soldiers and scientists on their toes. And then you meet Mishima next to a nuclear submarine. A cyberpunk samurai warlord wandering around a nuclear facility with a sword. And apparently nobody at this military base found this suspicious.
You know what we finally get to do?
What?
We're gonna make Mishima Kage our bitch.
Huh? I'm listening to the lore. I can't listen to you right now.
Come on, that was cool though. Because of the poster that's...
I can't understand the words you're saying right now while they're talking.
This fight is absolutely absurd. He turns invisible, he summons ghosts. He'll teleport into your body, and will randomly disappear for shockingly long periods of time.
What?
We win!
Yay!
Where the fuck is this guy at?
I'm guessing right there.
So epic.
Just throw your little grenade things and take cover.
Okay.
Really?
I hate this so much.
Where? All it does is shoot you.
Yeah.
Cool.
There
Oh,
he
there
is!
he is.
Hi!
He's firing ghosts at us.
Yep. It took a while before anything happened.
Yeah.
Many people consider him to be one of the hardest bosses in FPS history. Also, remember when he warned us the Daikatana's touching would destroy reality? Yeah, that's not true. You can sword fight him just fine. I mean, you shouldn't, because it's the worst weapon for this fight. But you can. It's an option you have. We only managed to beat him through sheer cheese and desperation. Now that you've defeated him, you no longer have to pay rent. But what's this? The Daikatana is depleted. Again. So what do? There isn't any magic around here. Oh, I know. Stab the core of a nuclear reactor. Which confirms, at least in my mind, that nuclear power is just magic after all. Then comes the final twist, the one we all saw coming. Mikiko betrays you. The companion you spent the entire game wishing you could kill betrays you. This is the emotional climax. She rushes directly at you with the Daikatana, and you shoot her. The fight is over in about 5 seconds. That's the final boss. Right after one of the hardest FPS bosses ever made. You have one so easy it felt like a joke. Mishima's timeline collapses. Reality resets. And now Hiro becomes the guardian of the Daikatana. And also the Mona Lisa. Ensuring neither can ever be used for evil again. At least until the sequel. That was cancelled. That's it. That's the whole game. I mean, there are a few things I didn't cover, like the 4 secret fish super bosses. They are goofy looking goldfish. It doesn't matter. At the end of our playthrough, we rated the game, and it received a 0 out of 10 from both myself and from my co-host. This was largely because the game as sold isn't completable, as discussed with the Windrax boss fight. I'd consider it to be disqualified and thrown into the bottom of the rankings as a game that isn't worth your money as it isn't completable. 3 of the 4 episodes range from frustrating to outright broken. The game constantly leaves you wondering if you missed a clue, misunderstood a mechanic, or if the game simply broke. It's often a combination of 2 or all 3. The weapons feel unstable. Many of them are as dangerous to the player as they are to the enemies, if not more so. Some bounce unpredictably, some actively target you, others just explode in your face. It feels like an incredible amount of creativity went into the arsenal, more so than many FPSs I've ever played. But even so, after a while, many weapons don't actually feel all that different from one another. Only a handful of weapons are really unique or ever really felt safe to use. Even the power-ups feel strangely wasted. Half the time you receive them after a fight is already over. The most frustrating part of Daikatana is how close it feels to getting it right. There are genuinely brilliant ideas here. Time travel, fantasy mixed with cyberpunk, weird experimental weapons, companion-based storytelling, massive thematic shifts between eras. The problem is that almost every good idea arrives attached to some catastrophic design decision. The companions themselves aren't even a bad idea. They add characterization and world building. The problem is the game turns escort mechanics into psychological warfare. In 2010, John Romero said,
I'd say that Daikatana was more fun to make than Quake, because I didn't have any creative issues with any. There were no creative issues on Daikatana. It was my game, clear and simple. So there was nothing like on Quake where I would have to I just lost faith in everything because we had to just slap Doom weapons in there.
And honestly, I'm glad he got to make it. because Daikatana feels like a game by people trying to create something unforgettable. And against all odds, they succeeded. And weirdly enough, Daikatana didn't actually die in the year 2000. In 2023, the unofficial 1.3 patch was released. It dramatically improves the game. The patch transforms the game from a frustratingly janky shooter into a solid, ambitious 90s style experience. Multiplayer support is available through Q Tracker, a better AI, optional invincible companions, optional no companions, just turn them off, it's the best way to play the game, HD textures, faster loading, modern support. It fixes enough problems that many fans, including, to my surprise, the speedrunning community, effectively treat it as the definitive version of the game. Not the official release, but the fan-repaired version. 25 years later, and people are still trying to fix it, to understand it, and to defend it. I'd say the 1.3 patch specifically is a solid 6 out of 10 experience, with the ancient Greek levels hitting highs of 6.5 out of 10 at times. In many ways, it's a hidden gem. Daikatana might be one of the most broken shooters ever made, but it's also one that I'll probably never forget.
That was... That ending is just, haha, none of all of the pain you went through mattered at all in the slightest. None of it happened, actually. Ever.
Well, I mean, that's
You've
the thing.
deleted it from the timeline.
That's the thing about time travel, is the goal is to always to delete the bad future from the timeline.
Yeah, why can't they ever be anything other than like, yes, we had to stop it all from before we even did the thing?
Yeah, sometimes it's cool. Like, Steins Gate is a fantastic anime. And all he's trying to do is, like, get his consciousness to the good timeline.
Yeah, true.
Fantastic anime. Anyways,
That was Daikatana.
Yes, and now it's for the segment of the show that I have decided to name Post Nut Clarity. Is when we talk about the game after we beat it.
Immediately afterward?
Do you just not want to do that right now?
We can do it right now. It's just, I feel like it's gonna be a hell of a lot more vitriolic than it would be later on.
What do you mean by vitriolic?
I just fucking dealt with that.
Well, post nut clarity is the clarity you have immediately post the nut.
Yeah, but then you have like the day after that when you're like, God damn, I really should not have drank it that much.
I think...
Fine, let's just do it so we don't ever have to touch this shit again.
With the spirit of post nut clarity.
Alright, you're leading the discussion.
Okay.
Go on.
So, our comparison point in ranking these games right now is Dementium the Ward. It's the only game we have ranked.
Yes.
And both of these games fail in a similar way.
They're too long.
They're too long and they feel repetitive.
But at least the secret shit in Dementium the Word, you could like find it.
Yes.
And it was like, I've never seen a building more stupidly built in a Resident Evil game. In terms of like, why would this be the logical play? Like, why is there a button here? Why is there a button here? Why is there a button here? Why is there a button here?
What? There's so much we've gone through. What do you mean there's nothing?
Just disappointed and pissed off.
Yeah. I think the main things that should be brought up about Daikatana is that the game, like, will actively gaslight you into thinking the correct path is not the correct path. By having buttons that don't work. I can't read without the keyboard. I was forced to do that entire level without them doing. What do you mean, Why are you doing cow noises? Explain yourself, game. Open the door. Okay, I was getting so fucking mad.
No, remember, some of the doors are the panel, and other doors, you click on the doors.
I know. The first time you press that, it does move. It does move the first time you press it. That has been repeated. It tells you no the first time. You have to press it twice before it works.
Oh, is that so? Gotta save scum because this ceiling bit me.
Game is impossible. See, I get it again. That's repeated 3 times. The first time you press this keyboard, it doesn't work. The second time, it does. Why is it programmed like that? It is programmed to convince you that it doesn't work, that there was a different way to open that door. It's just for you to have to do it twice. By hiding buttons, by making the path be underneath the way you are going.
This is the hardest point-and-click adventure game I've ever played.
And, like, it is a 90s game, and, like, a lot of arcade games were designed to
I have
artificially...
never played a game that was like that.
Yes, it goes above and beyond in every strategy, any artificially inflated...
Like, was this strategy guide sold with copies of the game?
I don't think
It should have
was,
been.
so.
God, getting this on Christmas or something as a little kid...
Yeah, you know, like...
That's like how you ensure a kid needs therapy.
Also, in Dementium the Ward, did not have to babysit 2 characters the entire time.
Also, while it was twice as long as it should have been, that twice as long was only, like, 6 hours instead of 4. This one was, like, overstayed its welcome. I think the Greek act was the best act.
Yeah, the Greek act was the best act. The Nordic act was the shortest.
There was a Nordic act?
Yeah, the vampire teleporting mummies.
I'm so disappointed there was no Dracula.
Yeah. I think, like, there's a lot of problems with this, and there are a lot of things to like about Daikatana.
What's the like?
Occasionally there was good music, occasionally there was fun combat. There were good things. It's
When was
just,
there fun combat? When it was all melee?
Yes, when in the ancient Rome section, when I was Daikatana...
The one weapon, the discus. Everything else felt like dog shit.
When I was fighting skeletons who
It's
could
like,
not shoot
the
me.
only weapons that seemed fun to use were, like, the discus, the ballista. Was there anything fun in the first zone?
No, I
Not
hated
really.
everything in the first zone.
It's like the ballista and the discus. Those are the only ones that felt fun.
The
Everything else was like,
Daikatana,
either like, this is dog shit and I don't want to use it, or like, I might as well use this because I have it.
the Daikatana was good, depending on the enemy.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure cut the fuck out of those ghosts.
yeah. I think, like, the most damning thing in Daikatana when compared to Dementium is there are actively parts of Daikatana that are game-breaking. Like with a Windex.
Oh yeah,
wizard.
without the community patch? Yeah, you literally can't beat the game.
Yes,
without console commands.
the version of this game on Steam apparently just cannot be beaten legit. You have to use console commands or have a community patch, because a wizard will crash your game, and you can repeat that. Like, it's repeatable 100% of the time.
Like, it crashing during the final boss fight because he told me to save, like, sums up the entirety of how I feel about this game.
Yeah. Like,
In the story was there and long, but also nothing.
like there's a part of me that wants to, like, when ranking these games, add a this game has been disqualified for actually not being beatable in the ranking, and technically Daikatana was not beatable the way it is sold.
Yeah.
And I think that disqualifies it.
I don't
from
think it
even
should be
being
disqualified.
ranked.
I think it should be at the bottom of the fucking pile.
How about we rank it, but then add a little...
So that all the shit drips down.
We rank it, but add a little, like, parentheses note that doesn't deserve to be ranked because it's broken.
I think beating with console
Unbeatable.
commands is it should still in the running for the worst game. I don't think that disqualifies it for being the worst game we've played.
Yeah.
Because it's the worst game we've played.
This is the worst game we have
How
played.
did we flip so hard from playing Dementium? Is it just because we were in the middle of it in Dementium and we, like, forgot?
I don't know. I think here's the thing about Dementium. I think we were really down on it because we were going through on the hardest difficulty, trying to beat the game without a weapon that is basically mandatory to beat the game.
Yeah.
And, like, at
This
the
one-
time, it was very upsetting.
Here's what I will say it did well. Okay, and then what it did poorly, the level design's dog shit. Confusing as fuck. like there's variety between the areas, but there's not within like a single area. There's not enough variety and things that make it stand out enough that you could be like, oh, I could go here.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all the same gray muddiness, like gray brown muddiness. No matter what other colors there are, and it just blends together in your brain. It's like staring at the side of the highway when you're like driving at night and you're like driving cross country and you kind of get into that state where you're like not even paying attention to the road.
Yeah.
That's the whole game.
Well, no, because you have to push buttons that don't work the first time, and then you have to push the buttons again later, and then they'll work.
Yeah.
Sorry, that really frustrates
And
me.
the platforms that glitch through you, and like, there's literally just a little tiny red outline over the around the interactable objects.
If that.
Like, this is not a game. I don't think this is a game you can complete without either a guide or having already completed it once.
Yeah.
Who figured this out the first time?
John Romero.
I want John Romero to come back and play this game. On this difficulty. I want to see him do a Let's Play like we just did and look at what he's made. Like, look at it. Look at the mess. Look at what you did. Like you do with a dog when it shits in the carpet.
Yeah. I guess rankings. We
0 out of 10.
I think 0 out of 10 is fair considering it's not actually beatable without console commands. 0 out of 10. The game isn't beatable.
The story is dog shit, and like fucking all been done before. I guess what kind of moral do you have? You know, like normally with this kind of story, there's like a refusal of the call, and then like answering the call, blah blah blah, with like a hero. This one it was just like no, actually he just went back in time and refused the call to adventure, and just none of it happened.
Yeah. To be fair, in the new timeline, Mishima doesn't exist anymore. So
does he not? Did we go back in time and assassinate him before he existed?
I think the idea is that we've erased him from the timeline. We beat him and his boss.
Okay.
That's what they were saying. So they were erasing him from the timeline.
Okay.
So he doesn't exist anymore, and we just never went
for
on
a game
any
based around the
adventures.
guns and the combat, because let's be real, that's the majority of the gameplay, other than finding puzzles in the walls. Most of the guns sucked.
Yep.
They didn't feel good to use.
Almost all of them kill you.
Better than they kill the enemy. Like
Yeah.
those little mines at the end.
Yeah, those are why
The Satan summoning stick that does nothing.
Why does half the weapons kill you if there's no enemies around? It's such bullshit.
Yeah, that one I threw like 5 of those at Mishima and nothing happened. I like stand within range of one for like 5 seconds and it's lasered my goddamn brains out.
Yep.
There's no you know what the big killer is? Usually in a game like that, when they give you like a weapon, they give you like a scenario that weapon's good to use in.
Yeah.
You know, as maybe not necessarily like a tutorial that spells it out, but like the gameplay of the game is a tutorial in that you're like forced to use the weapon in like a good game.
Yeah.
In this one, there was nothing about that. There was no telling you what the weapon does. You just have to fire it and hope it's not one of the ones that kills you if you look at it wrong.
Yep.
Like every button felt like pulling the detonator on in the movies when they press the detonator button and it doesn't go off the first time and they have to press it like 3 or 4 more times.
Yeah.
It felt like that, except you're standing on top of the fucking bomb when you do it.
We didn't even get to try out all the weapons because fucking Windex's staff.
Oh, it just summons his little lightning orbs.
I know, but still, we didn't get to use every weapon because of glitched bosses.
Technically, we didn't get to use the fucking the Satan staff because it didn't do anything. It summoned it oh yes, it can kill a single mook at a time, and it doesn't work on bosses. And also, if you use it when nobody's around, the demon sucks your soul out of your asshole.
Yep. This game sucks.
It sucks real bad. Remember in the middle when you were like, actually, I think there's some redeeming qualities to this game, and then it just slowly fucking abused them out of you over the course of gameplay until there was no fond memories left?
In my defense, the game started to actively break after that, and we were experiencing
After
crashes.
that, the game's been broken since that door in the crematorium.
You know what? You're right.
Fucking door. It took us several hours to get
That
past
door,
that door.
you're like, it's because it's the like fucking you're like we get done with it and you wipe it from your brain because you don't want to think about the game anymore. But no, it's been like this in the beginning. That door was like not super late in the game.
Yeah,
that was
no,
still in the
that-
first act,
that
but
was
we
the
got
first
stuck on the
act.
door,
Mhm.
and that was probably the worst bug. Next to Windex, not that's his canonical name now. I don't give a flying fuck what they named him. His
I
name's
can't remember
Windex.
what his actual name is. But yeah, those were the two worst bugs in the game. Is the boss that 100% of the time crashes your game, and the door that glitches out your camera and then crashes your game.
And like
If
they
you
don't
upgrade
even
it.
they don't even use like reversal of tropes well, because there's like the trope where like the buddy friend is like the one who betrayed, right?
Mhm.
Which I thought it was gonna do because whoever wrote this is a bad fucking writer, and they didn't even get that bit right. And they like, oh yes, I guess she has been a bitch the whole fucking game, but she's like not enough personality there for it to be like Superfly had personality
Mhm.
and things going on
Yes, Superfly was a much
that we
better
learned about
game.
over the course of the game. Not a whole lot, but we know he has like a tragic dark past. and
Better
he's, like,
functioning AI as well.
yeah, a functioning AI. He was like in jail.
Mhm.
He like served Mishima as like a guard at some point.
Yep.
But like all we know about her is that her dad died.
Yeah.
And that she's like related in the Ebihara clan. Up until the and she's a cunt every time you talk to her.
Yeah.
Up until the very ending, which like yeah, I guess it makes sense that the woman who's been being a bitch to you the whole game decides to betray you. But
Yeah.
it was like
The bitch is a bitch. Who knew?
she's like a one-dimensional bitch, so I didn't see it coming. I thought the two-dimensional character would be the one that would betray us.
I really didn't want Superfly to betray us. I liked Superfly.
yeah, but at least it would have meant something.
I would have
Her
actually
betraying
been
us
upset.
means nothing.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't a character. Her betrayal means nothing because there is no value there to begin with.
Yeah. But yes, this game is worse than Dementium. But there's one last thing I want us to do.
What?
Control Alt Delete Task Manager. I don't know what the game is doing, but I'm going to pull up
Oh, no.
on Google Chrome
Oh, no.
Daikatana, How Long to Beat. How Long to Beat.
Yeah, this is
Dai-
what you sold me on.
Daikat-
This is what you sold me on when you said, let's play this game. It's quick.
Yes. Quick.
Completionist.
Yes, it's 12 and a half hours, 15 hours if you want main plus sides,
Plus sides
Yeah.
of what? There was no side quests.
15 and a half hours if you are a completionist. I want you to guess how long we've been playing this game.
30 hours.
30 hours. 30 hours.
At least.
She thinks 30
32.
hours.
Fine, I'm locking it in.
Okay.
Oh my god!
We are at 70.
How much was it at
hours.
before? No, we had to have left it on at some point, right? There's no way.
I think yesterday I might have left it on for a couple of hours because
I want to
never
see
come
how
back
much
to
is
it.
in the actual like recording.
I removed a good chunk of episodes so far because there's like hour-long segments of just not shit happening and us not making progress. So our YouTube videos do not show everything because some of it was just
This
fucking
game is a
boring.
fucking sinkhole.
And before I do confess, before we started playing our recording, I did have half an hour in this trying to make sure the recording stuff worked.
So we're gonna say like what, 65 hours, maybe
Yeah.
rough estimate.
It's a rough estimate, 65 hours, maybe a little bit more.
I'm never letting you put anything on the hardest difficulty again.
We're playing on normal unless the game specifies that normal.
We're good at it and we've beaten
hard
it on,
is
on the
intended.
hardest difficulty before.
That hard is the intended difficulty, or if easy is the intended difficulty, we'll play on easy.
Like if we play Mass Effect Drama, I'm playing that shit on Insanity.
And if we play any fucking Fallout, I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty.
Well, the hardest difficulty in Fallout makes it easier than the second hardest difficulty.
Oh, hey. Let's watch the ending credits. We got Will Kevins.
I don't want to see the people who did this to me.
We got the QA.
They had a QA department? I don't believe you.
Fuck you guys. You guys. Oh, okay, that was
Okay.
everything. QA. Yeah, you know what? What QA? No QA happened.
All
in
of
this
you are
game.
fired.
Oh, this company doesn't.
What is going
exist
on
anymore.
now?
I don't know. It broke. It broke again. I don't know. We're done.
I'm
Bye.
done. I'm done, Katana.
Like, comment, subscribe.